I'm Leandro Perez, Vice President of Marketing for Salesforce Asia Pacific, and welcome to the Salesforce Executive Series, where you will hear from Salesforce global executives on their thoughts and perspectives, and experience working with thought leaders and the C-suite across the globe on how to navigate these questions and more. You can't hear though, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear, okay.
On the fly.
Yes, some chit-chat.
Hold the chit-chat, hold the chit-chat. Everyone wants to go digital faster than ever. They expect results now, or really yesterday, and they're thinking about things in a much more agile and flexible manner.
Today, I'm particularly excited to welcome my friend Neeracha Taychakhoonavudh, Executive Vice President, Global Customer Success and Strategy at Salesforce. Neeracha leads the customer success function as part of the Customer Success Group, Salesforce's organization focused on creating sustainable customer success for customers of every size and in every industry. Welcome, Neeracha.
Thanks, Leandro. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Neeracha, we hear a lot about accelerated digital transformation. Based on your expertise, what have you seen in this new world?
Well, regardless of where digital was on the CEO's priority list pre-pandemic, with the state of the world today, it's really become unavoidable. And there was nothing else than digital when we were all in lockdown, so it accelerated that transformation. We saw a huge acceleration. In fact, I was speaking with one of our customers who is the chief digital officer of a retailer in the Netherlands. And she was telling me that just in the prior few weeks, she had been able to accomplish more than she had in the prior 3 years. That the CEO was actually calling her and saying, well, when can you get this set up? Can you get it set up faster? And so that is a sea change across so many companies. Everyone wants to go digital faster than ever. They expect results now, or really yesterday, and they're thinking about things in a much more agile and flexible manner.
That's incredible, Neeracha. That timing, wow, from three years to 3 months. So what does success from anywhere mean to you? And how will it change the ways companies and individuals behave? And really, what are the opportunities?
Well, success from anywhere means that all companies want to be where their customers are, either physically or digitally, with an omnichannel strategy that treats the different channels in the same way. So they want to be selling on whatever digital channel that their customers prefer. And those channels and customer preferences are very different depending on the different markets around the world. So success from anywhere means being able to deliver to that mandate in an easy and fast way. The other interesting thing, although it may seem very obvious in hindsight, that success from anywhere also affects your employees. For every single company, employees have been working remotely for 15, 18 months, maybe locked down, maybe not locked down, but people have moved to remote work, and managers have been surprised to see that that actually hasn't affected productivity. So your employees now have more flexibility with their locations, and that's a huge wave of change that's upon us, both internally from how our employee and team members work, as well as how our customers wish to interact with us. The other interesting thing around the pandemic is that we're seeing many companies are moving to a subscription-based model. In fact, I guarantee that every single person who's watching this probably has more subscriptions today than they had 18 months ago. And so forging those tighter relationships in a subscription-based model means that you need more and different tools. So it's cheaper to retain customers than to go out and find new ones. And having that digital transformation provide the right tools to do that is a big part of the change we've seen.
So tell me, where is the success from anywhere already happening, right? We're seeing some examples you shared before, but I'd love to hear how you're seeing companies transform even further.
Well, back to my point about the subscription economy, I think it's moved into almost all industries. Communications, media, again, think about all those new subscriptions you have as you watch more and more streamed TV. Retail, consumer goods, companies actually want that direct customer connection, even if they have traditional distribution channels. In fact, one of my favorite restaurants in San Francisco, where I'm usually based, is an Italian restaurant called Flour and Water, who make amazing, amazing pasta. And they now have a monthly subscription service, which I was happy to sign up for. As a consumer, I want my favorite businesses to survive and thrive. And so I'm now a subscriber, and that's forging a far deeper relationship between me and that restaurant.
Love a little bit of flour and water. That's for sure.
It's a great restaurant. In fact, we're seeing a lot of the changes. I mentioned the Dutch retailer. In retail, for example, with the pandemic, I think possibly everyone watching has actually started using click and collect, or in the US, it's called buy online, pick up in store. And that was deployed super, super fast when all the physical stores were shut down. It'll be interesting to see how many of these fast deployments were thought out for the long term and how many were a little bit of a hack to get it up and running. Hopefully the retailer has chosen a clean, integrated process that can deliver to the customer where all the data gets aggregated. But back to my earlier point, the pandemic has forged digital to be a CEO level mandate as opposed to an IT or a chief digital officer mandate. And that's been a huge sea change.
So there's obviously a lot of opportunity here, but what are some of the barriers you've seen companies face with to try to implement or take advantage of this?
Well, I mentioned earlier, sometimes things were stood up quickly and hopefully they were stood up well. But I think having that clear vision and putting the technology that is in place to get you there, how do you keep up with that innovation with all the change? And change is constant. Even the technology that we're using today is different than what it was around 2 years ago. So putting a strong change management infrastructure in place is easy to say, harder to do, but creating empowered centers of excellence around change management is pretty key in order to manage and align all these different projects and all the different data streams. We do see customers who are incredibly data forward, have made decisions, but not invested in them. So that tech debt, that technology debt that's created is sometimes quite challenging to overcome, both from a cultural and an integration standpoint. That's probably the biggest barrier we've seen.
Very interesting. So, this is a time that executives can take the opportunity to lead their companies successfully into the future. We've heard many CEOs say, don't waste this opportunity. But how can companies seize this opportunity now, right? You've given many examples, but what does that mean for them?
Well, we really see and we hear from our customers that customer loyalty is the new currency. Retaining your customers. Again, it's easier to retain an existing customer than to go get a new one. And with the pandemic forcing everything to move to digital, it's a noisier world. I mean, think about all the email and texts and, ads that come your way. It's easier to build on existing relationship than acquire a new one. So if you think about retention strategies and building lifetime customer loyalty, it has become, again, a CEO mandate and not just something, someone in marketing thinks about. And the opportunity is to use technology as a platform to assemble a 360-degree view of that customer, understand them, create that persona, if you will, and be able to personalize the offers that you're sending to them. I think as a consumer, if I get an offer that's very well targeted and personalized to me, it's a pleasure to receive that. Unfortunately, I get a lot of offers. They're a little bit misguided. And so the opportunity here is to leverage the data you have, build that loyalty, and personalize those offers so it feels like a gift to your consumer as opposed to a burden or spam email, say.
I can definitely relate to some of those misguided, non-personalized notifications. They're never the ones that you want to share stories about. So I apologize for all marketers around the world for those. Sorry, Neeracha. Now, you've shared some great insights and I guess advice of what you're hearing from organizations around the world. What would you share with the C-suite specifically to act right now?
Data, I talked about customer loyalty as the new currency, and underlying that currency is the customer data, which you have to protect based upon all privacy laws and the customer's preferences. But understanding their data and having an integrated platform is amazing. The ability to pull the data from lots of different sources, your own customer data, data from online activities like social, data from physical offline activities. For example, if you're a retail bank, how often a client goes into a branch, goes into which branch, what do they do? All that data about that particular customer can be aggregated to give you that full 360 view. The whole idea is you understand your customers much, much better, and then you can engage in the appropriate way. So going back to banking, for example, the whole concept of next best offer is something that retail banks have thought about for a very long time. So, someone has a current account. You need to ask if they need a savings account. Do they need a loan? Do they need a credit card? What is the next best offer for that particular customer? Now, you can apply that whole idea of personalization and next best offer across all industries. And now we have much better technology around AI to even be much more predictive than we were before.
We've heard some incredible takeaways today from Neeracha. Here's some of the things I took away. The digital imperative is the CEO imperative. Success from anywhere means that you want to be where your customers are, both physically and digitally. And customer loyalty is the new currency supported by an integrated data strategy. Neeracha, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your perspectives.
It was such a pleasure.
I couldn't remember all the words.
You sounded good, Leandro. You sounded good.
This is Days of Our Lives Take 2. We're going to go in deep on career stories with Neeracha and the tales from the sea.